Hey, this is Stephen Crane with 360 Veteran. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and we're at episode 234 with my boy Stephen Crane from the 360 Veteran. He's a leatherneck United States Marine, just a kick-ass individual. We had such a fun conversation. He dropped so many knowledge nuggets that will really help our fellow veterans transition back into civilian life with purpose, dignity, and ease. So if you're a veteran or you know one, please have them listen to this interview because it will just level up their life and make things so much easier. And again, if anybody out there is having any thoughts, bad thoughts going through their head, please have them reach out to Time to Shine Today. We can help them through it, introduce them to people like Stephen. So without further ado, break out your notebooks, sit back and relax because here comes my really good friend, Stephen Crane from the 360 Veteran. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I got a fellow veteran, and me and him are all about helping veterans successfully transition from the military with purpose, dignity, and ease. And my boy here, Stephen Crane, is a serial entrepreneur, mentor, and veteran advocate. As someone who experienced the stereotypical, terrible military transitions, which is very true, and he lost everything, he now helps other veterans successfully transition from the service by providing them 360 degrees of care. And I am so stoked, Stephen, to have you on. If you could, please come on, introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Favorite color? That's a good question. I would have to say blue.
Blue.
Awesome. I like blue because it's just calming. It reminds me of the ocean.
There you go. There you go. And I'm not trying to rub it in, but I'm looking at the Atlantic right now. Got the Atlantic to my right, which is beautiful here in Jupiter, Florida. But let's get into what branch were you in, brother?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Nice. Very stoic. You guys do all the work. What years were you in?
I was in from 2013 to 2017.
Excellent. Any tours, deployments?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
I was definitely in the rear with the gear. I was an admin chief.
Okay, very cool. Stateside, where at in states?
All up and down the East Coast, primarily stationed in Beaufort, South Carolina.
South Carolina?
Air station down there.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful area. Absolutely beautiful. My lady's daughter lives in like Spartanburg, I believe, something like that. Okay. Welford or something like that. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful area. So let's get to the roots, man, of getting into the 360, even before then, and what kind of that planted that seed of the fork in the moment mind.
That's a lot. So I guess to unpack that, I got to go back a little bit just shortly to when I did get out of the Marine Corps in 2017. Like you said, I was a stereotypical homeless vet, lost everything,
Sure.
Didn't have a plan of what I was doing, but I got out, scraped and clawed my way back to civilization. And my wife and I made a promise to ourselves when we made it back, two things. One, we're certainly never going back there again. That was not fun.
Right.
And two, we're going to do everything in our power to help other veterans and other families not have to endure the same fate that we did. Because
Sure.
we planned, we did everything we were supposed to. We thought we were doing everything we were supposed to, but life comes and it hit me. It hit me with a lot of medical stuff. It rendered my degree that I got in the Marine Corps completely useless, and there was nothing I could really do. So I had to be a janitor.
Okay.
I had to DoorDash. I had to do anything possible just to make a buck. But over time, I finally got my feet under me. And then from there, I just started doing whatever I could to give back. I started mentoring. Mm-hmm. I started with Veterati, started with Hired Heroes, started just giving back however I could and connecting with brothers and sisters around the world. Mm-hmm. And helping them not have the same destiny that my wife and I endured. So over time, we fell in love with this idea of helping veterans, and we're like, you know what, we should start a veteran company. But we never had a good direction of what that would look like. But I came across a company called Remedical. They've been around for 20 plus years. They've helped tens of thousands of veterans increase their disability rating. I went through their process. Now, granted, I was a special case. I had a really, really good time with them, but it was only 45 days from start to finish. Came out the other side 100% permanent and total disabled.
Okay.
Why are we not funding this? Why are we not making this more mainstream? Like, why are we not helping more veterans with this? Sure. So I had a talk with the company and said, can I help? Can I market? Can I do my own thing and, use you as a backbone? Absolutely. So became an affiliate with the company and then started, since June of last year, started helping veterans increase their disability rating.
Wow. That's so what do you think when you say make it back? I know what you mean, but can you explain to our audience that might not be veterans and have went through that transition, what it means to make it back?
The two most impactful days in any veteran's life is the day that they become civilian to military, and then from military to civilian. Yeah, graduating boot camp is great. Yeah, graduating MOS school, your technical school, all that stuff's awesome, but it boils down to those 2 days.
Sure.
When you enlist and when you get your DD 214 and you're kicked out the door.
Right.
So making it back is a full transition, not only emotionally, spiritually, but physically.
Sure.
Because you're down on your luck. You don't really have a plan. You don't know what you're going to be doing, but you just know you have to keep pushing forward.
Right.
We adapt and overcome. That's what we do in the military.
Absolutely.
We just don't know how to do it.
Right. With that being said, it's so true because people sometimes despise being in the military that they just want to get out, right? They don't have that plan. And I was surrounded. I enjoyed my time just because I liked the structure and I liked my fellas in San Diego that over at Coronado Seal Beach, and we had great times together. But I had a plan, and the reason why I had a plan is because I was married at the time. My mother-in-law said, "Listen, if you're going to get out, you're going to have a plan." And so we had me set up, and it was smooth sailing for me. I dealt with PTSD a lot, which I went to mental hygiene. I talk about a lot in my podcast here. My squad knows about that. But what could the military do with their infrastructure to maybe make it easier for the transition in your perfect world?
I think they've done a really so I got to give them props on one end.
Okay.
The Skill Bridge program is phenomenal. It really is, because the last 6 months of your tour of duty, you can be an intern. You can go work for another company.
Wow.
You can
okay.
Get your foot in the door, and there's tons of partnership programs with various companies across the country.
Okay.
It's wonderful. The problem is you have to be accepted.
Okay.
Okay, I can understand that.
Right.
Does it have to do with you, or does it have to do with the availability of the company, of the availability of the military, the company you work with inside the military, the department, the section, whatever you want to call it? If they don't have availability, you're not leaving.
Okay.
Same with retirement, right? You have to submit a request to retire inside the military.
Wow.
And if they don't have room for you to retire, they're like, sorry, we're going to have to push it back a little bit. So everything you do in the military is a request.
Right.
And when you're doing the Skill Bridge program, it's no different. So if you're in a very tight spot, if there's only a couple, people inside your shop in the military, you're not getting approved for Skill Bridge. I think that's
because they need you to do the work, right? Until your last day. Is that what you're saying?
What was that?
I said they need you to stay in the shop and do the work until your last day, right? You can't go out and utilize the Skill Bridge. Okay. Got it. So do you work mainly with people that are one-on-one or groups of people?
Primarily one-on-ones, especially when you're dealing with disability. That can be very personal.
Mm-hmm.
I do group workshops, and I explain and I educate people, but when it comes down to actually helping the veteran through that process, it's a one-on-one, because some people got PTSD. And when we're going through that process, we do need them to be very open and transparent about what happened. Absolutely. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you, and how that's impacting your day, your relationships, your employment, because that's what the VA looks at.
Sure. So when they're coming in and you have your discovery period before you bring them in fully into the 360, what is any of your secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing it, that helps them maybe locate their blind spot?
Assessments. So it may not be the biggest secret sauce, but assessments and coaching techniques.
Okay.
Sales 101. Ask questions. Get to know the person. Show genuine concern for what the other person has been through, what they're going through right now, and where they're wanting to go. And the only way you're going to find that is through questions. So I know on the phone, a lot of people I talk to, they get annoyed. They're like, man, I feel like I'm playing 20Q with you. But I'm like,
sure.
At the end of that conversation, I really understand you and your family, where you're coming from. I understand everything. And that allows me to provide the highest quality of service to you and to make the proper recommendations moving forward. There was a person the other day I had a call with, and we had an opportunity based on, his disabilities. It could have either gone really, really good, but we would have been rolling the dice, or we could have gone steady state. This is pretty solid.
Okay.
And I present that. And I'm like, hey, based on where you're at, based on your legal background, based on, drinking, drugs, do you want all that kind of, based on everything that you've told me, I would recommend this. However, you're the patient. If you want to roll the dice, let's go ahead. But I just be very transparent about the entire process.
Right. Beautiful. So then during this discovery period with the prospective client that you're looking to bring on, the veteran, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
That itself is a really good question. So
time to shine today, baby. That's what we're here to do.
I wish more people would say or ask, what do you know that I don't know?
I love it. Love that.
Because, I'm 100% PNT.
Sure.
Do I know all the answers? No. Do I know how I got to it? Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Are you 100%? No. Right.
Right. Exactly.
I obviously know something.
Right.
Or like, hey, how are you making X amount of money? How do you make that transition into this career? I know you've done it. Someone has done it before. Therefore, they know something you don't.
Right.
So open yourself up and be a little vulnerable to ask those questions and say, hey, I don't have the answers. You apparently know something that I don't. What is that?
Love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's exactly what I didn't say I want to hear, but I'm glad that I heard it. So thank you for saying that. So let me ask you something. Have you saw the movie Back to the Future?
I've seen bits and parts. Yes.
Okay. It was about this dude that gets in a DeLorean, takes it to 88 miles an hour, the flux capacitor, and he goes back in time. So let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, Stephen, and go back to, say, the 22-year-old Stephen. What kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on Stephen to help him shorten his learning curve, level up, and blast through maybe just a little bit quicker?
The amount of knowledge that I've acquired from 22 to where I'm at now, it makes me so excited, because I know from where I'm at now for like the next 10 years or whatever the case is, how much I'm going to learn during that time period. I'm just so excited. So if I could go back in time to 22-year-old me and drop some nuggets, I would have to say three main things. One, you don't understand finance. You don't understand money. You don't understand economics. You don't understand this. Yes, you have a degree. Yes, you went to college. Yes, you took some financial literacy courses.
All right.
You don't understand it.
Right.
Until you have bled like sucked everything in from financial services, sat down with mentors, been inside the industry, got licensed, actually done policy for people, helped other families achieve financial freedom. Until you've done that, you really don't understand all the ins and outs of it.
Right. So learn money. What else?
Second part, you don't understand the emotional toll that transition has on you. You don't understand how it's going to impact you mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Okay.
You need to take care of yourself.
Okay.
Yes, the job's important. Yes, the paycheck's important. But your health, you're never going to get that back.
Yes.
You can make your millions somewhere down the road. You have to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And the third biggest nugget, network.
Yeah.
And when I say network, I think this is a word thrown around way too much about people saying, hey, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Right.
Or like, hey, there's a networking party. You want to come to it and say hi to people? I'm talking real relationships.
Absolutely, man.
And not only relationships, but don't be afraid to jump on a call with someone, even if you're not selling them something, even if you don't have anything to add, even if you're just, if you've got nothing to do and you can choose between hopping on a call with someone and just listening to them, hearing their experience, asking them questions versus watching TV, hop on a call with someone.
Absolutely, bro.
You
Absolutely.
never know where that's going.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. So, Stephen, those are all three great, awesome points, man. My squad wants to know, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date on your tombstone. How do you want Stephen's dash remembered, bro?
I don't want there to be an end date on that dash.
None of us do.
I really want to be known for, and I mean, this is my tagline for just life, making the world a little better and a little brighter. I can't solve world hunger. I'm not like some Elon Musk. I'm not some Bezos. I'm not like some special person, but I am a person of value, and I am a person that can give value. It could be a little bit of value. It can be a lot of bit of value for some people.
Yeah.
But whatever that is, I just want to be known for always being there for people. And
you are, man.
Going above and beyond.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing what you're doing. So what do you think people misunderstand about you the most?
About myself?
Sure.
I think people misunderstand my, like, what do I want to accomplish? Because they see me and they ask me, what do you do? I'm like, well, hold on. Who are you? Who's my target? Who's my audience? That'll define who I am, right?
Right.
I do so much in various fields that it looks like I'm almost scatterbrained.
Okay.
But every person that I've talked to that gives me an hour and that sees where I want to go and what I'm trying to accomplish, at the end of that conversation, almost every single person's like, that's kind of like a maniacal genius. Like, you really got something going here. I don't know how you're going to put all of it together, but you got something here.
Yeah,
because everything I do is for a purpose. Everything I do is intentional.
Sure.
And every person that I touch and talk to, I'm doing it for a reason. It's not just blindly going through life. I'm very intentional about why I do stuff. And that intention can change. Sometimes I do it for money. Sometimes I do it because I need to put food on the table. Sometimes I do it because it's therapeutic for me. Sometimes I do it because I just really want to help another person.
So you're saying there's a method to your madness. Even though it might look like you're scattered, you're all bringing it back to a place of service. And I love that. So then what keeps you up at night?
The fact that I can't do more.
I love it, man. I love it. How are you at delegating?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Delegating.
Okay.
I learned that very early in the Marine Corps.
All right.
You
Good.
have to. If you're going to be successful, you have to delegate. You have to trust people. You have to
Sure.
empower them and give them the tools and education needed to be successful.
Sure.
And so I have no problem delegating stuff.
Right.
It's just
so much
stuff that I want done because I'm a Marine. I want it done right, especially when I'm dealing with people and other people's finances and life. I don't want to leave that in the hands of someone that isn't taking it as passionately, as seriously as me.
Right. Right. So
and I know no one else cares as much as me.
No, they don't. That's how it goes. Any owner of a business and whatnot, you can only align with someone that's as close as you know. Sometimes you want them to, but also there's a side of me in my businesses that I don't want them to as well. And it's not in a bad way. It's just like I want them to continue to need direction in a sense to go out and level up and help people, because I'm always learning. Like the people that work for you, they're not always open as we are. And so you can kind of continuously pass that on. So what is your definition of a life well lived?
Leaving the court, leaving everything on the court.
Yeah.
Leaving it all. Some of us only got 40 years. Some of us got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. Regardless of that time, if I wasted a day, I'm going to be pissed about that.
Love it, man.
If I
freaking love that, Steven.
There and I did not give 100%, it's only hurting me. It's hurting the people around me. It's hurting me. It's hurting my sleep. It's hurting everything. So every day before I go to bed, I have to get everything I can out of me before I can actually rest.
Love it. Love it. Hey, time to shine today. Podcast Varsity Squad. We are back with my boy, Steven Crane. And he really helps with the transition for veterans into, we'll just call it the real world. I was one of those people back in 1997. And it took me a minute. And luckily I had help, which I mentioned my former mother-in-law, bless her heart, made sure that I leveled up. And not everybody has that. And Steven is just locked and loaded, ready to rock and roll and help people do that. And Steven, we have a leveling up lightning round here, and you and I can literally talk an hour on each one of these, but you got 5 seconds, Marine. No explanations. You ready to rock?
Okay.
Do it. Let's do it, Leatherneck. What is the best leveling up advice Steven's ever received?
The first question, you're going to throw that one?
How about get the fuck up early? That's what they say in the Marines, man. I'll tell you that. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Consistency.
Love it. I bet you are, man. Other than your own website, which is the360veteran.com, and of course, timetoshinetoday.com, a shameless plug. What other website does Steven go to level up?
LinkedIn, believe it or not.
Yeah, beautiful. Love that you said that. So you see me, I'm in my doldrums, like, man, Fergie looks like he's down, man. Like, what book are you handing me?
If you're down on your luck, The Compound Effect.
Yeah, there you go, baby. There you go. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Love it. Chess or checkers?
Chess.
What was your New Year's resolution?
To grow 360 Veteran.
Love it. You are. You're killing it.
500 clients.
You're killing it. I love it. What's your favorite charity or an organization like to give your time or money to?
I like Veterati because of just the open source platform that they have across the military branches.
Love it. And this is the last question. And you can elaborate a little bit on this one, my brother. What is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Ooh. 80s.
Ah, my man, bro. You're young to say that too. What year were you? How old are you, if you don't mind sharing?
If I have to share, I'm 26.
You're 26? Man, you're 26. A wealth of knowledge, bro, for 26. Thank you for stepping up this early in your life, dude. Like, I'm not being a smart ass. I'm being seriously. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. So how can we find you, brother?
You can find me on social media. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am always on that thing. It is open 24/7.
Okay.
You can also find me on my website. So StephenCrane.com.
Okay.
Or you can also go to the360veteran.com. Either way.
The 360. You guys have to check out this site. Don't go yet, but after we're done, everything's in the show notes for my boy here, Stephen Crane, my young buck, man. The beard gives you a little bit of the mature look, bro. But like, I mean, he's a handsome dude if you're watching here on YouTube and whatnot. But man, he's 26. That's awesome, man. Thank you, dude, because your generation scares me. I'm sorry. I'm going to be 50. You know what I'm saying? And it's like your generation scares the crap out of me, man, with all the handouts and everything else that's going on. You're out there making it happen. Thank you so much, man. So do me one last huge favor here, Stephen, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Consistency, determination, and courage.
I'm going to write that down. CDC. Consistency, determination,
and courage. You have to have the courage to be consistent every single day, and you have to have that determination that you're going to stay consistent and achieve whatever it is that you're going for at that given time.
Love this, man. In squad, we have just had this isn't loosely used. We have a master class by my young buck friend here. He's just fantastic, and I cannot wait to introduce him to veterans. We just got a seriously good master class, and he'll tell you that the two most important days and the most transitional days is the day you turn from a civilian to military and then back to civilian. And there's a lot that's got to go on, especially with mindset. You can deal with PTSD. You can deal with just a loss of what you're going to actually do because you're under such great structure in the military that you're like, you don't have it and you don't have to have it, but you still want to succeed. And people like Stephen are here to help you do that. He reminded us that a great coach uses assessments to locate the person's blind spots. That a great coach has genuine concern and empathy for where that person's been, where they are now, and where they want to go. And he wants to help you level up. You ask what do you know or what I don't know. So basically, Stephen would ask his younger self to get his asking gear. That's what we say. Get your asking gear. Ask for help. Continuously learn. He told you to learn about money. He wants you to take care of your health. He wants you to learn how to properly network and get to know as many people as you can. If you have time to take a 10-minute Zoom or a conversation with somebody, use that time over a YouTube video or TV or whatnot, because you never know what it can lead to help you level up. And if you can level up that person's life. Stephen's going to leave this place a better and brighter world, but while he's doing that, he's going to have bumps and bruises and sliding across home plate, knowing that he gave it all, man. And he's also going to remind us that consistency, determination, and courage, the CDC, is what's going to really help you, to achieve everything that you want in life. And that's exactly what my boy Stephen is doing. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's humble, yet he's hungry. He's part of the Time to Shine Today varsity squad. He's earned his varsity letter. Thank you so much for coming on, Stephen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you, brother. Talk soon. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.